If you want to get better at selling an idea or a product or a service, you must learn the tap and tell technique. Are you wondering what the tap and tell technique is? Hello and welcome to another edition of Chai with Pi. My name is Prakash Iyer, and just the other day I was out trying to buy a watermelon. Now, if you've bought a watermelon in your life, you'll probably relate to what happened next. So I went up to this vendor, stopped the car, and I said, I'd like a nice big watermelon, but I want it to be sweet and juicy. So the vendor looks at me and very thoughtfully picked up a watermelon, held it against his ear, tapped it twice, and then put it down. And then he picked another one and held it against his ear again, tapped it twice, and put it down again. And then he picked a third one. And as he held it against his ear and tapped it twice, he nodded in approval and said, "Here's the one for you." Now, I was delighted. I picked it up, paid for it, put it in the car, and before I could drive away, curiosity got the better of me. So I decided to go back to that vendor and asked him, "Tell me, how can you tell how good that watermelon is by just tapping and listening to that sound?" Well, the vendor looked around and there was really no other customer, so he had a few minutes to spare and he decided to indulge me. And he said to me, "It's actually a family secret." And he said how his father used to be selling watermelons and it's something that he had learned from his father. "So what did your father tell you?" I asked. And he said that my father said that if you get a customer who's really looking for a special watermelon, here's what you should do. Pick up a watermelon, tap it twice, and put it down. Pick up a second watermelon, tap it twice, put it down, and then pick up a third one, tap it twice, and then offer it to your customer. That was it. And then he said to me, "The truth is, all the watermelons I have are good ones. And if I know that I have a bad watermelon, I can tell by just looking at it, and I'd throw it away. I wouldn't even offer it to a customer. But I want my customers to know that I care for them. I want to make my customers feel special. And this tap and tell technique works every time. It makes my customers feel good. They walk away knowing that I've taken the trouble to pick and choose a good watermelon." As I drove away, I thought that maybe this is a lesson that was new to me, but it's a lesson that all the world's best salespeople have already learned. Look at the best consultants, and you'll find that they all use the tap and tell technique. If you've given them a huge business problem to solve, look at what their last presentation to you might have looked like. They will tell you that they looked at this approach and they walked down the path and then they felt, no, this wasn't good enough for you. So they tried another approach and then they figured that on one of the metrics it fell short. And then with the flourish of the watermelon salesperson, they will tell you, here's what the third approach looks like and we think this is just right for you. And we all love it because we feel that, hey, they've looked at alternative approaches and they've picked the one that's just right for us. We all like to feel special and we all like to know that the other person is showing that they care for us. Well, so next time you want to sell something, an idea or a product or a service, remember the tap and tell technique. So if you're asked a question and you know the answer straight off the bat, pause, tap, tell, and then after some consideration, offer them that solution. If you're trying to sell something, don't be in a hurry to get to the solution. Take your time, pause, tap, hear the noise, and then try and offer the solution. And you will suddenly discover that you made the other person feel special. You made the other person realize that you really care. Tap and tell. It works every time. I can tell you this much. I got a lovely, delicious, juicy watermelon. It was worth every rupee that I paid for it. But guess what? The lesson that I learned, that was priceless. That's all in this week's edition of Chai with Pi. Until next time, enjoy your watermelon juice and of course your chai too.